Oh, viewers, it's happened once again. Here I am in Dudley, from with Surrey Garage, and they said, we've got a Jeep Compass in stock. I was like, what on earth is a Jeep Compass? Can I try one? Welcome to Contingency Reviews and this 2018 Jeep Compass 1.4 Multair 2 Longitude. So the second generation Jeep Compass was launched in 2017 in this country, right at the end of the year. It replaced a car that had been discontinued a little bit beforehand, which is about the same size as a Jeep Renegade, but with this name. And by all accounts, it wasn't very good particularly. This is supposedly a lot better. And it has this engine that dates back to the 1980s, actually, in much more modified form. Oh, there's another one. It has 138 horsepower, 1.4 litre turbo, and they say it'll do 0 to 60 in 9.6 seconds, which I am attempting to try now. It's quite noisy. It's a very similar engine to the one that was used in the Abarth 595 at the time and loads of other cars. It sounds like it's got like a supercharger or whatever. It doesn't. It's just a turbo, but it's okay. Other options that were a 167 brake horsepower version of this engine with a 9-speed auto. This car's got a 6-speed manual. And then after the facelift, all the engines kind of changed. I can't remember exactly whether they quite coincided with that, but you can't buy this engine anymore. It was replaced by 3 different engines for the petrol variants. A 1.3 normal petrol with 130 horsepower, a 1.5 E hybrid with the same about 130 horsepower, and then a 1.3 plug-in hybrid called, I think it's called something like the 4xe or something like that, with loads more power. I think it's 236 horsepower. There were also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So it's quite nice to drive this car. It's not bad. Gearbox seems okay. The problem that I'm mainly having is these terrible stalks. Apart from that, the car feels pretty normal to drive, really. It's not exceptional, but it never was designed to be like that, was it? Ride seems quite comfortable. Steering's good. I don't think there's any variable steering assistance or anything like that. Driving position feels very commanding. It doesn't actually feel as big as you'd imagine. Sometimes you're driving like a Tucson or a Kia Sportage. It may seem massive, but this seems relatively compact, despite the fact it's probably about the same size as one of those. Yeah, there's nothing particularly exciting that's sort of jumping out to me about driving this car, but does it need to when you're driving something like this? I don't think it does. Bit of a departure to be filming this, to be honest, viewers. I don't think I ever remember even seeing one of these. I'm sure I have, I just haven't really noticed them. And they're not big sellers, these Jeep Compasses. There is a new model on the way that will be released later this year, but this is still the current generation, albeit a pre-facelift one. A facelift occurred, I think, late 2021 for the 2022 model year. I think it looks nice in this colour, actually. The Longitude model is kind of, I think, in the middle of the specifications. It's not towards the bottom. We've got, for example, a leather interior or leather style interior in this. And this particular car's only done 40,000 miles. So yeah, it looks resplendent in this particular colour. don't know why someone would be using a tow bar on this. I mean, there are other more powerful engines. It's the least powerful engine that they did in 2018, 138 horsepower. So I don't quite know why you'd be towing with this, but that's what someone decided to do. So you've got parking sensors and a reversing camera on this, which is quite handy because it's a relatively large car, this. Boot is 478 litres, which is quite typical for this class. Push this and see we've got an adjustable height boot floor, which I think you can put down in the lower position. That's personally what I would do, like that. Liberates a bit more space. Just got the standard tyre inflation kit. I mean, I'd like a spare wheel, but I'm not even sure you could get one in there. I'm not sure, so maybe someone can tell me. Boot light in there and a 12-volt socket. We've got some metal tie-down points in here as well. She's got twin boot lights. Excellent. It's a nice handy thing. I'm not sure if you could get an electric tailgate or not. Maybe you could. That's one of these little Jeep symbols that are hidden around the car. So yeah, quite sort of nice styling really. A bit like a larger version of Renegade, which also uses this platform actually. Drove one of those a few years ago. So nice big door bins in the back. Interior handles feel okay, I suppose. I suppose we'd be looking at maybe like a Kia Sportage or a Hyundai Tucson in comparison with this. That's the most obvious rivals that come to mind, and the Qashqai. But yeah, we'd be looking at like maybe a late 1.2 Qashqai with one of these, and a 1.2 turbo engine. It's not good. Right. So yeah, nice and spacious in here. Prefer a panoramic roof, but I'm sure you get that in some of the other trims. Interestingly enough, you've got a 3-pin plug down here. It's a European style one actually in here, but it's there with a USB port and some climate vents, so that's nice. Cup holders in this rear armrest. No ski hatch, but never mind. Got little lights above the grab panels. Are these damped, these grab panels? Let's have a look. Yes, they are. It's not a bad interior. This it's okay. When this car was launched, the interior was considered a little bit dated. It's fine. The biggest problem with the interior, we will come on to this in a second, is actually the stalks. They are really horrible. I don't know why, because it's quite nice in here. The rest of this. Hard touch door tops, but that's normal really. Got some fabric on the door cards, unlike in a Hyundai Tucson that I tested towards the end of last year. Yeah, I'm just impressed how big these door bins are really. Got map pockets on here as well. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's not going to put off the majority of people who'd be buying a car like this. It's pretty good. Let's take a seat in front. So, keyless entry. Lots and lots of switches on here. Power fold mirrors, one-shot driver and passenger windows. There's the start-stop button. Yeah, these stalks are... Ugh. I don't know why they're so flimsy. The rest of the car's not like that. I really don't understand why they would do that. Never mind. Just got manual seats in here, which is fine. 6-speed manual in this car. The only problem is we've got an automatic handbrake. I don't really like automatic handbrakes, to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan of those. But, you know, never mind. Nice, comfortable seats. Plenty of controls on here. Very familiar kind of FCA parts bin stuff here. Yeah, I think these are similar to like a Fiat Tipo or something like that, these controls on here. Although the steering wheel is a lot nicer than in the Fiat Tipo. It's obviously cost a little more money than one of those. Start-stop buttons here, so we'll just turn this on. There we go. Uconnect. This is the earlier version of the display. I think it's about 8 inches, this one. More modern ones are bigger than this. Now, fortunately, and praise the Lord for this, we have physical climate controls in this car, but not buried in a touchscreen. The only thing is, you don't actually see the temperature unless you look right at top of there. So if you're adjusting these buttons, for example this one here, you can see it moves up and down in the display, but that's separate from the buttons down there. So I don't know. Relatively simple to go through this. There's the USB port. There's also an aux in and a 12-volt socket down here as well if you want. So that's good. Obviously you could charge your laptop, and if you wanted to, using a 3-pin socket if you had an adapter. Map. There we go. That can't be the full display, surely, because surely that's better. There we are at Himley Hall, just near Dudley. You connect apps. Does that mean you get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay views, or do you just get random things like this? Interesting. Not really going to go through much of this. It's probably not that exciting. I'll just show you some of the safety systems. So we've got forward collision warning, forward collision sensitivity. I would turn that down a bit. Lane sense warning, lane sense strength, park sense rear, park sense volume. Park view backup camera delay, park view backup camera active guidelines, rain sensing wipers. All sorts of exciting things. Can we go back to there? Yeah, we can. There's probably not much else to say, really. It's not engine off options, brakes, lights, sorts of exciting things. Don't clear the personal data, because that's not what I'm supposed to do. Headlight delay, radio delay, doors and locks, auto unlock on exit. That's not bad. Passive entry, all sorts of interesting things. Right, that's enough of that. Okay, I'm just going to change hands and then we'll go on to this display here, if I can actually get the lighting to work for me. Okay, so we can adjust these settings here with the steering wheel buttons. So that's the top one. Actually, these are numbered. So number 1 is speedometer. We can actually go into kmh, put it back into mph. Number 2, vehicle information, tyre pressure monitoring. If we go different sides, coolant temperature, oil temperature, battery voltage, car's been to service, so that's not a problem. And next one, we can go to driver assistance, lane sensing off. Probably most people will like it like that. Next, fuel range 39 miles. Not got loads of fuel then. Average MPG is only like 32.8, which isn't the best, I suppose. Audio, no stored messages, screen setup. I'm not going to bother with that. And then just normal settings, and then back to speedometer. So that's all about that. Not much else to say, really, I don't think. Let's have a look down here at some of the other controls. We've got automatic handbrake that I don't like, but never mind, it's just the way of the world these days. And then we've got a cubby hole with another Jeep logo in there. Cup holders, of course, because we're in an American-designed car. I can't remember, actually, if these cars were built in Italy or in Mexico or somewhere else. Certainly the later ones of these have been built in Italy. Maybe somebody in the comment section below can enlighten me about that. Glove box. Can we get my secret mission documents in this glove box, viewers? No. Can we even get them in the door? No. Where am I going to put my secret mission documents, viewers? That's terrible. At least on here you do have some controls which are for the radio down here. Those sort of physical controls, because when it came on and I needed to mute it, I didn't know where they were initially, but they are just down here, which is fine. So yeah, let's turn it off. There we go. So we got some places for bottles in the door bins, although they're not nearly as big as I thought they'd be in a car like this. Yeah, maybe we should try some power folding mirror action in a bit. Automatic lights. And do we have a sunglasses holder in here? No, we don't, which is a shame, but never mind. Do we have illuminated mirrors? Yes, we do. Fabulous. Right, let's take a look at this engine, shall we? So this is one of the final cars we fitted with what's termed here the Multair Turbo or Multair 2 engine. It actually dates back to 1985 and was launched as the Fire engine in the Fiat Uno, I believe, is the first car to have it. The last one is the Abarth 595 and its variants, which I think you can just about still order. But yeah, cam belt in here. This version generates 138 horsepower. You could also get a 167 brake horsepower version of this engine with a 9-speed automatic. This has a 6-speed manual. So there is a cam belt to do in here, and obviously make sure that's been done on these multi-air engines. apart from that, not much else to say. A lot of it's under plastic covers and things like that, so there's not really an awful lot to be done. I haven't heard of too many sort of horror stories with these cars particularly, but they're so rare that actually a lot of people don't even know they exist, so that might be a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, let's go out for another spin, viewers, and we will see what this car's like on the road again. One thing I would say about putting this little 1.4 turbo in this car, which is quite heavy, is that you do have to actually rev it quite hard to make adequate progress. It's fine, it's just not got the most torque in it. Maybe like a 2 litre or a 2.4 that was available in some markets as well would have been a better choice. But you know, over here we've got sort of strict emission standards that this is what we had at the time, and here we go. Yeah, steering feels good. Just going to go around this roundabout and just make sure that it holds on okay, which it does. Cornering is reasonably flat, it doesn't roll too much. I'm not particularly fond of the noise of the engine in this. I mean, it can sound great, this Multair engine, depending on what it's in. And this doesn't sound particularly good, but you're not buying a Jeep Compass for the sound of the engine or the sporty driving experience. You're buying it because it's nice and spacious, nice and comfortable. It's got lots of equipment in it, which this car does have, and it just needs to get on with daily life and look a bit more distinctive than everything else out there, which it does. So I think actually for the target market this car is aimed at, which is somebody who's buying a family SUV, it's a reasonably good option. Let's now look at some trim levels for the current generation Jeep Compass. So we have the Altitude, the High Altitude, the Buzz, the Limited, the Longitude, like this one, although I think this is a UK exclusive trim level for some reason. The Night Eagle, the North Star, the Overland, the S model. Why do you need one called the S and then one called the S model? Never mind. The Sport, the Summit, the Trailhawk, I think there's one called the Upland as well. So viewers, should you consider a Jeep Compass? I don't know really. It's an interesting car. It's a bit less interesting on the inside than the outside. These stalks are pretty nasty, but actually it feels all right. It's all right to drive. It's not quite as quick as I thought it would be. Only by the 0 to 60 time, but it's okay. I don't see why you shouldn't consider one of these. Just obviously make sure that it's in good condition. You can still buy a brand new one if you want. But it is very distinctive, and I quite like it, really. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some more last-minute reviews.